on beats, boy.
Subscribe to Kiwi Box.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Alright y'all, I have a article here from Boxing Scene. I will leave in the description. It's titled Wilder. Joshua avoided the fight to avoid the hard questions. So he's meaning Joshua didn't go to the Fury versus Wilder fight, apparently to avoid the hard questions. There's a few points in this article that really stick out as bullshit to me. The first being Joshua avoided the fight to avoid the hard questions. What hard questions? Why didn't you accept the $50 million maybe? It's already been explained all over the place that Joshua couldn't accept that offer because it was on the proviso that the fight was on BT Sport in the UK. Anthony Joshua can't fight on that. He's legally bound to only fight on Sky in the UK. So he couldn't take that offer. And that is the reason why Wilder's team wouldn't meet to discuss details. They were trying to hide that detail and get Joshua to accept the fight without knowing any details. It was never going to happen. Wilder's team knew that. So they're saying Anthony Joshua ducked the fight because he didn't accept the offer blind. Horse shit, eh? But there's also some other points in this article from Wilder that are absolute bullshit too. He says the top 3 heavyweights fought on that card. Well, no they didn't, because Anthony Joshua is the top dog. He's the man who holds 3 belts. He's the man who makes the most money. He's the man who gets to call the shots. What is supposed to be the hard question for Joshua? Why don't you want to give Deontay Wilder 50% so he will accept the fight? Is that the hard question? Well, Joshua's the A side. He gets to call the shots. If Deontay Wilder wants to keep that WBC belt hostage by not taking a reasonable deal, which by the way he has a reasonable deal now. He has an offer that's apparently close to 40% but not 40%, which is pretty damn fair considering Anthony Joshua makes around $20 million a fight and Deontay Wilder's just had his biggest payday at around what, $4 million, $5 million, something like that. And don't say the pay-per-view is going to make it $20 million. No way is it going to make Deontay Wilder's biggest payday $20 million. At best, he might get 10 US million dollars. At very best, but I don't think it's going to be around that much either. Out of all that pay-per-view, there's still profits to be split between promoters, the broadcasters. 250,000 pay-per-views were supposed to break even for Showtime. They got around 320, so there's only 70,000 pay-per-views there that are profit, and still there's other people that take percentages out of that. But anyway, Anthony Joshua avoiding the fight, yeah, I can understand why he avoided the fight. Deontay Wilder's been having Anthony Joshua's name in his mouth for the last year and a half, trying to build his profile of Anthony Joshua's a coward, Anthony Joshua doesn't want the fight, Anthony Joshua is not a real champion, Anthony Joshua is not even in the top 3 heavyweights in the world. All this trash talk with no legitimacy behind it and nothing to back it up. If Anthony Joshua didn't want the fight, he wouldn't be the one making the offers. If Deontay Wilder was that keen on becoming undisputed champion, he would be making legitimate offers to Anthony Joshua. There has been no legitimate offers to Anthony Joshua. Like I said, that $50 million offer was not legitimate. But like I also said, Deontay Wilder now has a deal that's close to what he wants. He's got a reasonable split. He's got a two-way rematch clause. He's got a date. He's got a venue. And if he's so confident he can win, then why not take it? Even if he loses, he gets the rematch in the US. If he wins, he gets a 50-50 split with the biggest heavyweight boxing star on the planet. I can't see the reasons why Deontay Wilder won't take this fight now. There is the Tyson Fury rematch in play, but if we're being real, he's not going to make anywhere near as much money out of a rematch with Tyson Fury as he would fighting Anthony Joshua. In fact, the payday he would get from fighting Anthony Joshua at around, say, just for argument's sake, say 37.5%, right? He'd still be making probably around $20 million US. And that is probably more money than he's made in his whole career, all put together. A fight against Tyson Fury might do a bit better than it did in the last, especially if it's in the UK and they sell out a huge stadium. Plus, it would sell well over 1 million pay-per-views in the UK as well. Yes, the pay-per-views are a lot cheaper, but the stadium makes up for a lot of that difference. Plus there's fight revenue on top of that. There will be a percentage of the fight revenue, which he'll also have a percentage of fight revenue against Anthony Joshua. So, in all fairness, the best choice for the best money would be against Anthony Joshua. Whether he wins or loses, he's going to win. But I couldn't care less whether I see Wilder Fury or Wilder Joshua next, because the winner of Wilder Fury will end up facing Joshua anyway, and we'll still get to see undisputed one way or another. I couldn't care less who fights who, as long as we get undisputed. I want to see undisputed. And by the way, when we get to see an undisputed heavyweight champion, lineage can legitimately start again. I don't believe Tyson Fury is the legitimate lineal heavyweight champion, simply because for me, Vladimir Klitschko was never the legitimate lineal heavyweight champion either. He didn't beat Lennox Lewis, who was the last lineal champion, and he retired with that. So according to definition, lineage stops until an undisputed heavyweight champion is crowned once again. Yes, Tyson Fury is the man who beat the man. I'm not going to argue that Vladimir Klitschko was not the man. He was the man, but he was not the lineal champion. So, a lot of this stuff that Deontay Wilder is talking about, I think is horseshit. He's still got Anthony Joshua's name in his mouth. He's still trying to build his own profile of a undisputed fight that hasn't happened because of him. He's the one who's made it so difficult. His team haven't been willing to negotiate properly. They're saying, give me this or fuck off. Give me this or don't talk to me. we don't want to talk to Anthony Joshua until our fight with Tyson Fury is over and done with on December 1st. Then Eddie Hearn starts talking to Shelley Finkel about a possible Wilder-Joshua deal, and then Wilder comes out and says, oh, he didn't want to know, and then all of a sudden he comes out and starts talking to us about a possible deal. Well, that's what you fucking wanted! You didn't want to talk to him until you had your fight with Fury. You had your fight with Fury, and on your instructions, they started talking to your team. And you're sitting there saying, no, we're going to freeze Joshua out. Why are you going to freeze Joshua out? What happened to one face, one champion, one name? You don't want that anymore. Or you're just holding it hostage as long as you can to try and get the much money as you possibly can out of Anthony Joshua. Because it ain't about money, it's about legacy, right? Fucking bullshit, you hypocrite motherfucker. You either want the fight or you don't. You've got the best deal that you're gonna get on the table now. Any more fucking around and you'll have no one to fight. Except more PBC fighters. You'll get to fight Tyson Fury, then who are you gonna fight? Back to making $1 million a fight? Fighting Dominic Brazil? You're gonna fight Gerald Washington again after that? You're gonna fight Joe Joyce after that? You're not gonna fight another elite heavyweight. You're gonna crush your own profile by doing this shit. Buddy, it's your career, your life, your big fucking mouth. Do what you want with it. I just hope someone beats you so we can get an undisputed fight happening, because as long as you're holding that WBC belt and being a fuckwit about this, that and every other fucking thing, we're never gonna get to see undisputed. We will never see one champion, one face, one name, because it sure as shit won't be Deontay Wilder. Big Boys Boxing, we out. See you.
Zone beats, boy.